Hi, this is Matthew. Going to talk about the next Chicago album. We go to 1984 with Chicago XVII. They're still on Warner Brothers Records. This is their biggest album probably ever. Had three really big hits. I think one fairly big one. I'd forgotten all about the fourth one. But very good. Unfortunately, it's the last album with Peter Cetera, and I don't know exactly why he leaves. I don't know if it will enlighten us on Chicago 18 or not, but I've not been able to find out. I don't know that he's ever talked about it, from what I understand. I have not dug into it a ton, but I don't know if he's ever said why he left. But it's a good 15 years of a band. Tend to just not be there. He leaves in '85. There's a fairly good solo career, though. I said I had a few pretty big hits in the adult contemporary side of things. 3 songs really did well on MTV. When I was remembering MTV, they didn't really play adult contemporary, but I kind of remember them as a very small kid doing a few of them. I saw a few I know on there with babysitters around. They were watching it then. I don't remember from this era, but several years after. But yeah, they had big hits. It went platinum and all kinds of things. Grammy Award nominations. I don't remember if I had any winners, but big, huge album, all over the place. Yeah, lots of big hits for the group. And I just never realized that Peter Cetera only had 2 albums in this era. I just thought he'd had like 3 or 4 more, and nope. He leaves now. I always had a skewed view of that era, I guess. And there's some nice synthesizers on here. I really like. There's some nice guitars. All the hits are good. There's a few non-hits. There are a lot of the non-hits I like. I think the second or third, I liked the horns on it. There's some really good horn stuff spread throughout. Not every track has them on it, but they're still pretty much on there. They never really left. But it's like the best power ballad album according to a lot of people. I forget, there was some list that somebody made, and it was like the best, one of the best power ballad albums ever from that era, especially from that year. So yeah, we'll check out the sides and see what's there. I feel there's some new vocal people going on, but not for sure. Robert Lamb, I think, was back. He's on this album too. No other changes apart from Bill Champlain, of course, is still there, but everybody else is the same. Of course, that'll change now with Cetera leaving after this, but at this point they're still intact. We go with "Stay the Night" is first. That was a pretty big hit. Written by Peter Cetera and David Foster, who's the producer. He's back again, of course. And Peter Cetera sings it. And then we go to "We Can Stop the Hurt," and I did like that one a lot. Bill Champlain and Robert Lamb and somebody named Deborah Neal all wrote that one, and it's sung by Robert Lamb. Yeah, that's how I knew he was back. Though he's sang different at this point, not quite the same voice, but very much still him. And then we go to "Hard Habit to Break," that huge hit. Written by Steve Kittner and John Lewis Parker, so they got some outside writers again. Sung by Peter Cetera and Bill Champlain, so nobody knew there. I thought there might have been a third voice, but I think it's just Bill Champlain singing differently. And then we jump to "Only You." David Foster, James Pankow wrote that one, sung by Robert Lamb and Bill Champlain. And then we go to "Remember the Feeling," written by Cetera and Champlain. Peter Cetera sings that one. And side 2 we'll go on with "Along Comes a Woman." That was another, but that's the one I forgot about. I've heard it before. It's not what I immediately think of. Very good song, though. I had to go check it out again. Because all the videos, I don't know if that one didn't do as well as the other 3, but Peter Cetera and Mark Goldenberg wrote that one, and Peter Cetera sings it. And then we go to You're the Inspiration, another huge hit. Peter Cetera and David Foster wrote that one, and he sings that one. That's the one I always think of. That one and that one, Hard to Say I'm Sorry, the two I always think of first off. Of course, there have been others. And then we go to Please Hold On with Bill Champlain and David Foster, and Lionel Richie helped write that one. Yeah. I don't remember if they won the Grammy for David Foster did or not. I think he did for producer, I think, and I think some vocal stuff on Hard Habit to Break. But yeah, Lionel Richie helped write this one. Sung by Bill Champlain, but Lionel Richie did help. He was up for that producer award in '85 at that Grammys when these things got nominations. Then we go to Prima Donna, which is a pretty good tune. They say Prima Donna, but I say Prima Donna. Peter Cetera and that Goldenberg guy again. And Peter Cetera sings that one. And then we end with Once in a Lifetime. James Pankow and Peter Cetera and Champlain and Cetera sing that one. That's the album as it stands normally. We have some bonus stuff from the '06 reissue. Gave us Here's Where We Begin, featuring David Pack, written by Robert Lamb, and he sings it with David Pack. Okay, that's who that other guy was. Okay. I'm not sure who David Pack is, or I assume he's still living. And then we go to, as it was an unreleased track there. Pretty good. Then we have some alternate versions of the following. Oh. Yeah, that was, yeah. Then we go to Sweet Marie. Cetera and Foster wrote that one, by Bill Champlain. Some stuff was recorded during the sessions and not released from the '17 album. Good for Nothing was released on the Wheel of the World Seabird Star charity album in 1985, and this is the last Peter Cetera on vocals track. Oh, sad. Oh, okay. So, Bill Champlain offered to the band. Another band recorded it. A band called Tob. They occasionally recorded it, and there's some VHS recordings of some of their shows that it's surfaced online on. If you can find some kind of bootleggy stuff, you might be able to find this track being performed somewhere on a tour. And there was a box set of all the various albums, and from the 78 to 08 box set, if you can find that of their albums. I've never seen that. Yep, and we have, they restored it, and they've got the alternate versions of Only You, You're the Inspiration, and Prima Donna, and Here's Where We Begin. There's a demo version of Hard Habit to Break with Robert Lamb on the vocals from Number There with the History of Chicago. Ooh. I may have to go find that. I have not seen anything documentary about the band. I've not been able to read any books about the band. I've read things online on Wikipedia and like AllMusic and things. I'll have to go find that. I'll see if I can find that. That would be interesting to watch. I'm not sure if I can't find any books either. I'm still looking. I wouldn't mind knowing more about these guys. Very curious. I meant to go look for that one. Our people, though, should be pretty much unchanged. Remember, it might have some additional musicians. Peter Cetera lead and backing vocals, bass guitar, and arrangements, and vocal arrangements. The last time we'll see him on an album, so just take a pause for a second. He was one of the founding members of the band, except for Perfect Terry Kath, who of course died. But yeah, last time we'll see him on anything new Obviously, hits collections, he'll pop up, I'm sure, but those aren't current things. Bill Champlain on keyboards, guitars, and leading backing vocals, vocal arrangements. He's there for a long, long time. As I said, I've seen him. Didn't know it, but I've seen him. I've seen him when he played with them. Robert Lamb on keyboards, leading backing vocals, arrangements, and vocal arrangements. Glad to see him back. Hopefully he got his personal whatever taken care of. I hope so. I'm sure he may have a book. Who knows? He probably does. I'm sure a lot of these guys have books of various kinds. Lee Lamine on trumpet again. James Pinkham on trombone and horn arrangements and other arrangements. Walter Perazito on woodwinds, of course. Chris Pinnock is on guitars. He's, I guess, a full member now. I think he was a session guy before, but I think he's a full-fledged member now. Denny Serafine on drums, except on 178, someone else played drums, but he's everywhere else on those kind of synthesizer-y, keyboardy, drum machine-y drums. What do you want to call those things? Additional people, David Foster on keyboards. This is a program, additional arrangements. Got a program all those awesome 80 synthesizers that would be fun to go look at, but can't. It'd be fun to see. I've played with those as how they work. I always like messing with keyboards and stuff, looking at people's houses or music stores. I'd go mess with the. If I knew it was a keyboard, I'd just start poking buttons. Which probably wasn't a good idea, but I did it anyway. I enjoyed. Yeah, those are fun. And things like that. I want synth basses and horn arrangements too. Okay, there's a synth bass, I think. And then Eric Bowling in synthesizer programming. I'm not sure who he was, but additional people. Marcus Weiler, synthesizer programming again. John Van Toderen, same thing. Lots of intricate things to program into those machines. Mark Goldenberg on guitars and arrangements. Okay, so he was one of the additional session guys, Mark Goldenberg. Okay, that's who he is. Helped, as you know, write some of the tracks. So cool on him. Paul Jackson Jr. on guitars. Michael Landau guitars. Lots of wonderful guitars in these two albums here, 16 and 17. Some shredding even. Sounds really good. Jeff Furco on drums and uncredited on I think on track 1 maybe. Carlos Vega on drums and are credited on 7, I think. Tom Robinson on drums are credited on track 8. Paul and Acosta percussion. Not sure how you pronounce that. Greg Adams on trumpet. Yeah, I thought so. Gary Grant on trumpet. Jeremy Levick string arrangements on 3, 5, 7, and 10. Jules Chaikin string contractors 3, 5, 7, 10. Joe Vincia was the concert master for the string stuff. Kenny Zatara backing vocals. A brother. A kid. Some of them remember the family, cousin. I don't know. Don't know if it's a father. But yeah. Who is Kenny Zatara? Does anyone know? Donny Osmond on backing vocals. Really? From the Osmonds, I would assume. Interesting. He would definitely have been around, of course. Richard Marx on backing vocals. Really? He was popular several few years down the road here with some big hits. I knew he wrote songs. Interesting that he was doing some session work. Very interesting. I did not hear him anywhere. He was hiding. He had a pretty distinctive voice back then. Okay. Fascinating. Richard Marx. Yeah, go look him. If you haven't heard him, go look him up. That's some really big stuff in 80, 89, 90-ish. That's what I heard him anyway. David Pack vocal harmony and bridge improvs on Here's Where We Begin, as we know. Production guys are David Foster, producer, of course. Humberto Gatica, engineer and mixing. Terry Christian, assistant engineer. Eddie Delina, also the assistant engineer. Laura Livingston, assistant engineer. Okay, cool. Got some team representation in the mixing area there. Larry Ferguson, not quite sure. Mix assistant and additional overdubs. Polanyi additional overdubs. Simon Levy art direction and design. Larry Viken cover art, something like that. James Gubble photography. Harry Langdon photography also. Recorded at the Lighthouse in Northern California. Citizen California and the record plant Los Angeles. Okay, so I think the same ones as last time. I can't tell any difference in rooms or anything, obviously, but because they put reverb and all kinds of stuff on it, so you can't tell. But yeah, three. I think those same three got used last time, if I recall. Pretty sure they were. Of course, they've been used for many, many people over the years, so we're getting a good workout back then. People in and out of there. Recording and mixing and who knows what all. Overdubs or just finishing up things. Lots of people going through those places. I mixed at Lancer Recording Studio in Los Angeles. I'm not sure where that one is. Never heard of that one. R06 reissue people. We have just Magic Project to produce. Try that again. I reckon is Jeff Magid. Project Supervisor mixing and bonus selections. Yeah, that's from another album or two back. We've seen him before. David Dolly mixing bonus selections and remastering. Corey Fry editorial supervision. Rick Allen art direction and also design. Karen LeBlanc project assistance. Steve Willard project assistance. Mixedania Studios, Studio City, California. Mixedania mastering, Studio City, California. Yeah, basically I think the same people from another reissue from that period. I think it's all kind of the same people were on this, all of these together, so makes some sense. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would not have enjoyed it in high school, but I do now because I'm older and I like lots of stuff that I didn't like back then. A lot of things I did, but my musical palette, as it were, has grown a bit in places. Not in others, but in some others, like this. Yeah, still a very good album. I enjoyed it, and there's some nice, if you like 80s guitars and synthesizers and drums and stuff, it's right up your street, because it's they're everywhere. Right up your alley there. But yeah, we'll move on to 1986 with Chicago 18 next. I know, like, maybe one thing off of that one, possibly. Be curious to see who comes to their help with Satira Gone. I still don't know why he left. If anyone has heard anything, I don't know. Someone who was so pivotal to the band just decides, oh, I'm done, I'm tired of all this. I don't know what was going on in his life, but if he got tired of everybody, or if he had other demons he needed to face, or just wanted to go on his own. I'm not sure for exactly why, but he will no longer be on anything anymore. So 69 to 85 will be Satira's run. He never comes back, ever. I've never heard of him being with the band ever again. But yeah, I still very much enjoyed it. I had no idea that this was it for him, and that it was all kind of changed after this a little bit. With some guys, I think Bill Champlain, probably takes a bigger role. And I'm not sure who else they bring in. But we will find out. I may have a look and see on it, just for giggles. But I think that will do it for this one, though. We'll go next time to 86, jump up 2 years to Chicago 18. I'll have to go dig around in the compilations, I think, for a bit and see what I can find of those. Or if I can't find them and talk about them, but I would think they would put out, as far as I know, they've put out every album has been reissued as far as I know, anyway. I'll have to check that. But this was the biggest album, I think. Use of Prince, Balloon Prince of My Parents, I think, also had this on CD, I think. Maybe it was, I think it was this one, maybe 21 also. I think this one was, I think, one they had in that collection. I think it was this one. Don't remember, though. It's been a while. But I think that will do it for this time, though. I'll see you guys next time in the next video over Chicago 18.